Monarch is building the future for those interested in one wallet that consolidates the best services and functionality into one simple and easy-to-use app. Monarch will empower users to control all aspects of their financial kingdom from the palm of their hand. You may have heard the phrase, not your keys, not your crypto. With Monarch, you own your keys and seed, meaning you own your crypto. With Monarch, you can store, receive, send, swap, buy, sell, and earn interest on your crypto, track your portfolio, the news, the market cap, and more today. We're constantly adding new services and updates too. Learn more today by visiting monarchtoken.io or download the wallet for free today from Apple or Google.
Hey everybody, welcome to Beards and Bitcoins, the crypto podcast for the man's man and the ladies who love them. Today, not only am I joined by my compadre, my road dog, my podcast co-host, Jay Chains, but also with Steve McGarry, and they're actually wearing the exact same hoodie today. We're going to be talking about the Divi project, but first things first, let's talk about wearing the same hoodie.
Yeah. I mean, first off, let's shout out to the folks at Crypto Movement. I mean, that's a great sweatshirt. If you like hoodies and you like crypto, got to get one of these.
That's right.
You have to.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's very comfortable. Because it's hoodie weather now. I mean, I think for everyone.
Now, don't you consider that a Star Wars hoodie though? Isn't that like something the podcast stands against, the Star Wars?
You're trying to smash that nerd alert?
Yeah, it's again.
You're trying to snatch
I
that.
got to smash that nerd alert. Nerds all day on Star Wars.
Well, it's not. It's just a logo embrace. It's not Star Wars. So.
A logo embrace.
To be, I've taken some major heat for this, and I'm not scared. I have literally never seen maybe more than 5 minutes of Star Wars movies total combined. Never. And same thing with my wife. It's really funny. We've never watched it. I think it's just, something I'm waiting for when I have kids. Me
That's
personally.
really edgy. That's an edgy statement.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. But it becomes kind of a thing where like you've done it so long and you've refused to give in that it's like now you can't give in. I mean, is that how you feel, Chains?
I mean, that it brings up a good point. I mean, I've made it this far. What would cause me to go back and turn away from my roots at this point? But the more that they come out with them, I feel like the worse they get. I'm not missing anything. I think the original ones are probably, and isn't it weird? Like, so there's something weird about it, right? Where like the original ones are actually later in the story, and the newer ones like go back to the beginning of something like that. Is that how it goes?
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you right now for not knowing any of this. We'll just leave it at that. There's no reason for us to explain it at this point. So for me, I have one thing like that also. There's one thing that I refuse to do, and it was based off of like, there weren't really memes around in the 90s, but if there were, like, it was kind of a meme, which was Titanic, the movie where everybody going in to watch it already knows the ending. And I refuse to watch it based on that statement. Like, I know the ending and I don't want to watch it. So I never have watched it. What about you, Steve? Is there something that you have not ever watched or not ever done that you feel like everybody else has?
I haven't watched all of the Star Wars. And when you brought it up, Justin, I was thinking about it and I was like, this is kind of outing me as well. Like you talking about it kind of makes me have to come clean and say that I haven't seen them all. And now they came out with what is it, the streaming service with Baby Yoda, and now
Baby Yoda.
Now I'm even more tempted. But
maybe that's where I'll get my beginning is Baby Yoda.
Yeah, it's a good start. And with Titanic, I remember this guy did like the mathematics of the door when he drowns at the end, like the mathematics of the weight on the door that he could have survived, like how much more he should have just gotten up on there so his respiratory system wouldn't shut down. It was pretty hilarious. Early memeing.
Yeah, I was trying my best when I was on a cruise recently not to make Titanic jokes because I think it's, it's like talking about your airplane going down while you're on a plane. People don't really like to hear that.
Yeah, but you have to do that for like your first cruise, or I mean, I do it every time we cruise, is we go to the front of the boat and do the Titanic moment.
That is really cool. You let your wife hold you like that.
Yeah, yeah, she supports me and hugs me and holds me.
It's magic.
That's awesome.
Magical.
Well, let's come to the table. Let's talk about what we came to talk here about today, which is the Divi project. And Steve, we've known each other for a while. You're a YouTuber, content creator in the space. Obviously, admire a lot of stuff that you do, and I did not know that you were involved with the Divi project. So, tell us a little bit about it, and where we can learn more about it.
Yeah. So I've been helping them with their podcast and really working with Nick for coming up on a year and a half now. Ever since they rolled out, I did a series on Masternodes on YouTube and was working with
I remember that.
Yeah. That was like a crazy series. I mean, it must have gotten like 30 or 40,000 views total. And all these developers were reaching out to me, and I started with like 15 of the top developers, and Divi was one of them. And I stayed in touch with Nick. We kept running into each other at conferences, and I was like, hey, do you guys have a podcast? And he was like, no, we should work together on it. And I was like, all right. And their community's like extremely vibrant. They're really distributed, focusing on women in blockchain. They're focusing on like underrepresented people in third world countries, getting access to masternodes and crypto, and just making it easy. So I'm really bullish on them and excited about what they're working on for sure. And in terms of like my YouTube and content and stuff like that, that's still always going on. And as you know, Ben, like it's just a constant stream of projects. And I think I met Coinbound in Vegas.
Right. Yeah, those are my people.
Yeah, Ty and TJ.
Right.
And they were super cool. They talked about how you were, working with them. And I was really excited to like see that you were working with them, because that's such a smart idea. Because agencies and people helping you manage projects, because it's just a fire hose of projects from all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a dangerous game when you're promoting projects potentially that you're only doing the diligence that you know best to do, and that's not as good as what an agency would do.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Well, you bring up a really interesting point that I want to talk about, which is I want to get your opinion on this. Recently, there have been a lot of YouTubers that have made a lot of money pushing leverage trading links. Okay, Bybit. I actually have a Bybit link myself. I keep making the joke I have 6 referrals. I think I have maybe almost 10 now. So I hardly have any referrals at all. So I'm definitely not in this group of people that have made a lot of money with leverage trading links. However, I've seen like this really big rise in influencers that are not promoting it, trashing the ones that are. And so we have all these people complaining about YouTubers that do sponsored content, even if it's disclosed. Now people are complaining about YouTubers pushing referral links for legitimate platforms. What in your opinion is the way that generally people that are watching YouTube feel like people should make money on YouTube?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's a good question. And we're in similar groups on Telegram and stuff like that, where people are kind of having it out about the amount of shilling referral links. And I definitely am not a trader. Like my background's in economics, and that was what brought me into this space originally. And I think trading's very cool, and I like watching a few people like Wendy, and I like watching what they do. And I try to stay away from it just because I just don't have that skill set. So I don't have any referral links. I'm not on Bybit. I'm not on BitMEX or any of the leverage trading platforms. But I do think that it is interesting to see how much money people are making. That means that there is a substantial amount of demand. And I did a video earlier this year about the traffic that exchanges are getting. And out of their social media traffic was like 10 to 20% of where they were getting their traffic. And 50% of that was YouTube. Yep. So the vast majority of people coming to their site from social are from YouTubers. And that says that they're willing to pretty much grease the wheels, I guess you could say, for YouTubers as best they can to get them to post, if that's like one of their main acquisition channels. So I think that there is a certain point where if you're making 100K a month or whatnot on Bybit, I don't know anybody that's making that, but I think people are on track to make that.
Wow.
And
That's insane.
yeah, there's some serious money being made. And as Bitcoin rises over the next 2-3 years, it's only going to get even wilder.
Yeah, that's in the middle of what many people are considering another bear market we're in right now. They're making that much.
Yeah.
Whew.
And I think that when you're making that level of money, people are going to wag fingers at them.
Yep.
But at the same time, it is non-intrusive. It's always educational with the YouTubers that I've seen that are very into that community. Like, they're educating people on leverage. They're talking about it, and they're very informative on that. It is a referral link. You know, they're very transparent. The ones that I've seen, I don't know if there's ones that you've seen that aren't transparent with it.
Everyone that I've seen is transparent. What I've seen is it's not people, like consumers of content, I'm seeing complaining. The only complaining I'm really seeing against this is actually from other influencers or other content creators. It's kind of like they've just taken this one day and they said, I'm offended by this, and we're going to use this as a platform to say that, you know, other YouTubers are promoting it, aren't doing it the way we want it done. And that to me has been a little disappointing, because I haven't seen, like I said, I hardly have any referrals. However, out of the people I do know that have used my referral link that I've actually talked to, they're in my Telegram group, and a lot of them are actually doing really well. It's almost kind of like what we see in politics, right? Like, people just like to be outraged by something. And I feel like this is the flavor of the month right now that people are outraged by.
Do you think it's becoming out of envy though? Because maybe they're not making that money. So I'm gonna be pissed off at you because you're making that money. I'm not making that money, and so I'm gonna trash talk you.
Well, yes, to a certain extent. I definitely do feel like there is a level of envy. I mean, heck, I know how much a lot of the top YouTubers are making from it. And because I know, like, yeah, so it makes sense that I would be jealous. Yeah, I'm envious those people are making so much money. But yeah, at the same time, like, I'm not taking it as a platform to say, like, oh, you know, I'm hating on you because you're doing this. To me, that's crazy. But I think there are certain YouTubers that they kind of have a platform of, like, I will not do referral links, or I will not do leverage trading. And so because of that, like, it makes sense in their minds. I feel like it makes sense, like, okay, if this is something I'm not going to do and I can get attention, you know, downing these people, then that's just what I'm going to do. But for me, it's like, it's so crazy because I don't know a single YouTuber that does a Bybit link that is not transparent about it's a referral link. Leverage trading is dangerous. It's not for beginners. It's for gamblers. That pretty much is the message that everybody has. And so when we're having this message, because I know when I talk about my Bybit link, I say pretty much all those things, or at least some of those things every time. So when we're in Bitcoin and we're talking about everyone has to be responsible and has to be their own bank and be responsible for your financial decisions, and yet certain influencers are dogging on other influencers that are giving all the right information, just because they have a ref link, they're blaming those YouTubers for other people's financial decisions, then we're nowhere near ready for Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or being our own bank.
Yeah,
and I remember when, just to tag on to what you're saying about the envy thing, when you and I were standing next to a YouTuber at World CryptoCon, you were like, "I want your life. I want your life." Yeah, that was so funny, and it was just poking fun at all these people that are just like super butthurt at each other, and it's like a pecking order. You know, everybody it's like, you know, I have 20 referrals, but you have 30, so you're evil. You know, and
it's crazy.
Yeah, as long as you're transparent, as long as you're telling people what's going on, which I have not seen anybody do anything wrong in that way. It's all on the person. You know, I think that's just how it goes with making content.
It's funny that people would take the position of all right, because you're pushing this ref link, you're responsible for someone's financial ruin. I think that to take that position is just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wild one.
It's crazy. People are just looking for people to blame. I mean, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah. It's like blaming the drug dealer for someone with a bad habit.
Well, no, it's just like with sensitive issue alert. It's just like with race baiting in the United States. Like
Oh,
a lot of the people that are the most upset about things that they say are racist or are sexist or are whatever ist you want to say, they're not actually the people that should be offended by it. You know, like it's people that just like being outraged and bringing stuff up. To me, it just kind of lines up with where our culture is right now. You know, that people are offended for other people, even though you have not actually been wronged. And it's like a really crazy culture. I see it all over TikTok.
Did you see there's some performing artist. She recently said that she's stopping the tour business. She's going to stop performing concerts because everybody that's coming to her shows is white, and she's not going to perform for white people anymore. Like, oh, don't bite the hand that feeds you. My goodness.
That's wild. Yeah, and in terms of like when you were talking about with Bybit and stuff like that, one of the things that I've tried to focus on in the space, like even with Divi and a lot of other projects, is just collaborating with multiple people. And I see a lot of people that do just go fully in to one brand, and they'll just absolutely drive it home every single episode, and they're almost like entirely wrapped around one brand, which I found to be kind of a dangerous game. Like, you know,
Absolutely.
with collaborating with 5 or 6 companies every month is what I try to do, like working with all different types in different niches, focusing on different issues and using different pieces of technology. I think that not only keeps me sane and keeps my ADHD happy, but it it makes it so that I'm not married to one company, and people, I guess, would get less outraged by something that's at least diversified out, right?
Yeah. I think that's definitely a good strategy because, you know, I mean, if you look at like, let's just take Trevon James, Crypto Nick or Bitcoin Nick, whatever his name is, and some of the other guys that were promoting BitConnect. They were so wrapped up with BitConnect that when that crashed, they had no credibility in their career on YouTube, was pretty much over. Trevon James still has a YouTube channel, actually launched a second one. And he tries to do some stuff with dApps and things like that. But nobody in the space will ever take him seriously again because he was so associated with that. And I think that's an important point to make sure that when you're doing this, that you don't get, you know, too much on one project. You know, obviously your Bitcoin maximalists have done that. But for the rest of us that aren't maximalists, you know, I definitely work with Tron and IOST, and they're direct competitors. So, you know, I've definitely tried to kind of hedge my bets in that. But I think one of the important things is I think there's this thought that everyone should just kind of do YouTube as a hobby, and you shouldn't try to do it as a career, because when you do YouTube as a career, like a lot of us have, I know Justin has a regular job. I'm not sure. Do you have a job, Steve?
I own multiple businesses, so I'm self-employed.
Yeah, kind of like me. I've got different businesses that I do run, but right now, crypto is my main business, and my YouTube channel and all my social accounts, like, it's my main thing. I have to be able to feed my family, guys. You know, like, I have to be able to make enough money to be able to feed my family. That's how I'm able to do nonstop crypto, nonstop content. Some people would try to argue like, oh, well, you know what? You know, maybe you don't need to do this full time. You should do something else full time. But the value that I've gotten in the last 2 years by doing this YouTube channel full time for the last year and a half is that I've learned so many more things in crypto that allow me to educate people, because I'm able to focus on this full time. At some point, YouTube is not enough. The YouTube ad revenue is not enough to really give almost anyone a full-time income. You really have to have millions of subscribers pretty much to be able to do that. So I just think that for all the people that are listening, if you consume content on YouTube, you have to understand that at some point, to provide free content, people have to have a way to make money. And when people are transparent about ref links or transparent about sponsorship deals or companies they collaborate with, like, you got to understand that's the new way that this internet economy works.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that if anything, the ref links and things like that, I find to be more attractive to a lot of YouTubers because they're consistent. You know, if
Mm-hmm.
if a video ranks really well on YouTube and you have a ref link in there that has you mentioning it, talking about disclaimers and whatnot, you know, that could provide you income for the next 5-10 years. Like if it stays up and you keep it up. So the incentives are aligned to have you putting these ref links in there. And like I've had a ref link in my descriptions, like every single video for Ledger for the past 2 years. And I mean, I sell like anywhere between 5 and 10 ledgers a month. And that alone is only a few dollars, but it's still valuable. Like to have those links that are just kind of sitting there from old videos for newcomers that are learning. And I mentioned like, get a cold wallet. It's in the link in description. It's an affiliate link, whatever. And I just find it to be a lot less intrusive. And I think you're very right in the fact that ad revenue is like a tiny little piece of what can be made on YouTube. And it's not necessarily fair, but you know, I don't want to bring up what's fair. And I think with people saying like, hey, you shouldn't do sponsored content, but if you want good content and more of it, you really have to support sponsored content for sure.
Yeah, that is the nice thing about the ref links, like you said, you know, where they provide you that passive income, and you know, it's an evergreen program. You know, there's always going to be new people coming into the space. There's always going to be, you know, younger people that are, all right, now I'm going to get into investing. How do I do this? I'm going to start watching videos. They'll see the link and then go through it. And I think that, yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those people that gets mad about ref links. I wish that I had more myself. I need to get those high return ones.
Yeah.
Smash my links.
Yeah. I mean, like the hardware wallets are a good one because everyone agrees that it's important to have those in the space. Like no one gets angry about that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that with what Ben was talking about with leverage trading, I think that is a dangerous game for a lot of newcomers. But with something like storage and stuff like that, and teaching people the basics, I think that's a little less of a controversial topic with people.
Yeah, the leverage trading is definitely a controversial topic, and I'm not afraid to talk about controversial things. And I think that one of the things that everybody is killing these people for is like, oh, these people that are pushing these links, they want you to get liquidated so they can make money. And to me, that's just so crazy. Like think about it. If you have a referral and they put in $1,000 and they get liquidated, and you'll make some money on that liquidation, but they're not coming back to trade again. It makes more sense for people to help people learn how to do it the right way, do proper risk management, because those customers become customers for a longer period of time when they're making money. It's just like being a sports bookie. If you're or a sports handicapper, if you're a handicapper and you're constantly putting out crappy picks, you're not going to make any money. You have motivation to help people to make money, and that's how you continue to make money. So I just think the way that a lot of people are looking at it is really crazy. But let's move on and let's talk about masternodes, and really not just masternodes, but also altcoins. I saw a tweet today that somebody said, hey, remember when I think it was from Charles. It used to be Charles the ETH. I think he's just going by Charles now. He said, remember when masternodes were supposed to make you rich? And it's kind of funny because, you know, we look back at the way we were thinking about altcoins and masternodes a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and it's much different than how people look at it now. Do you think that we're going to see masternodes and altcoins make a return? Do you think we're going to see I know there are definitely some like Divi that are out there doing good things, but do you think we'll see another rise in popularity, have another altcoin season where people are looking at those like a legitimate source of income?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of different instruments that can be associated with like a masternode, because it is setting up cash flow. And for everybody that's new to masternodes, it's basically proof of stake. When you have a certain amount of coins on there, you can lock them up and stake and make rewards daily, weekly, and effectively make cash flow. And what a lot of people don't really realize is that in business, if you have cash flow, you have the ability to take on debt. You have the ability to do many new things when you have a profitable cash flowing business. So if an average person sets up a masternode and has this cash flow, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to borrow against that cash flow And it creates this new mechanism where people can actually have liquidity. Like they can immediately be able to access different types of capital because they have this cash flow. And having a background in lending, I did a peer-to-peer lending startup in 2015 that we sold to a PayPal co-founder, Max Levchin, in 2015. And peer-to-peer lending was like the mom and pops lending to each other to get financing and stuff. And then it quickly became bank. Bank just scooped all the loans, all the good loans. So it became peer to bank quite quickly. And I think what we're going to see with masternodes is there will be a rise again, just like with Bitcoin. But I think there's going to be cool instruments that people are going to start using, like with, for example, with Divi, the company I'm collaborating with. They very much are thinking about lending and allowing people to collateralize lines of loans. And I think that is like a very unique way. They just acquired a bank in Costa Rica that allows them to do payment remittance. And they're actually going to be not necessarily getting into the loan business right now, but unfortunately with companies like BitConnect and stuff like that, lending just has a bad name.
It has a bad connotation for sure.
Yeah. And it's such a powerful mechanism that people often don't really think about in the US. I mean, we do, but nowhere near as much as like third world countries where people just need a loan to subsidize their payment for the next month. They need to incorporate more to their business, or even $100 to start up a business in a different country. And I think that banks are not interested in microloans. It doesn't make them money.
Right.
Microloans are very difficult to service because there's low margins. It's micro, so it's tiny. They want big fish. And crypto and blockchain, I think, is just such a great way of actually providing something like a microloan where the incentives are aligned. Transactions don't really matter that much because it's not the lifeblood of a business like banks survive off of. So I think we're going to see a lot more instruments coming out on top of networks like Divi and companies that are building on top of these nodes that have been supporting it, and all of these like individual operators. I think it's super cool that anyone, no matter your age, where you're based, or anything like that, just an internet connection, you can set it up. I think that is super powerful.
The crypto microloans, I think that was, that's a really cool thing. That's what we talked to Leah Jonas with Celsius about. She said that's not something that Celsius was really going to get involved in, was the microloans, because they do a lot of big custodial stuff. But I think whoever breaks the bank on that and starts that, I think that's a great idea for anybody across the world that doesn't have access to a bank, where you can get a little Bitcoin, get a little whatever, and like you said, fund the next month of your life or whatever you need.
Yeah. It's a huge gap.
What does someone need to get started with a Divi node?
With Divi, they have different tiers. And there's also, if you guys are new to masternodes and you're listening to this, there are hundreds of masternodes out there. Like Dash is a massive one. PivX is a massive one. Zcoin, there's a whole slew of them. And like I mentioned earlier, I did a series on them, and more than half of the ones I did in the series completely went kaput, which is something about the fact that 50% of them are done. And I think 2 of them even got hacked. Like they got shut down. They got 51%. And I think it does say something. You're on the cutting edge. You literally always need to monitor like what the market cap is, if there's actual liquidity, how many nodes are active, how many are running. And the magic of Divi is that it's literally like 2 clicks. Like you send your coins there, they sit on your wallet, you control the keys. No one else knows anything about, other than the fact that it's your address, and you set up that node and it starts generating rewards every day. And that's just for participating in the network. It's not like some sort of weird, magic money that falls out of the sky. You're actually participating. Like that node is participating in the network for holding.
The magic money that falls out of the sky is the best.
Love me some magic money.
Isn't that why we're all here?
Yeah, the magic.
Hanging out with my internet friends, talking about magic internet money.
Yeah, wearing the same hoodie.
What is wrong? The funny thing is, guys, I know you can't see this because we're audio only here, but I'm actually also wearing a crypto hoodie. So we're all wearing crypto hoodies. I'm wearing a tour to crypto. They're both wearing crypto movement hoodies. We're such dorks.
It's actually like you said, because I don't think this is going to be a video episode. This is just an audio one, but it's been fascinating to watch the sky where you are, Ben, change from light to it's just about dark now. And as you can see here, it's
dark.
The sun is still shining.
It's dark for sure. And you know what? One thing that's interesting. Let's just not talk about crypto for a while. But I was recently on a cruise, and when I was on the cruise, my wife was like, "Hey, let's go watch the sunset." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And I realized I don't know if I've ever actually sat still in one place and watched the sunset. And of course, we were in the Bahamas, so like we had this great backdrop, and I realized like, man, the Earth really spins pretty fast. You can actually watch the sun moving, and the sun's not moving, but the Earth is moving, obviously. But it was surprising me how fast it happens.
Right.
You ever done that?
Yeah, it's like watching paint dry. Not fun.
No, I'm talking. No. Listen.
I mean, you can definitely see the sunset. No, I know what you mean. It's boring.
It was only 3 minutes. It took 3 minutes from the time you could, from the time that the Earth started moving up into the sun to the time it fully set and you couldn't see the sun at all. It was only 3 minutes. Like, that's pretty fast.
And there is something special about being somewhere where there's no light pollution. Like if you're somewhere where there's no lights around you, it's pretty epic. Like magic money epic. You know, like you're
kind of like stars. I was in Honduras, and I was in the middle of the wilderness in Honduras. We were on a mountain. And I just looked up and like you couldn't see a light anywhere. Like there were no lights anywhere. And it was just amazing how many stars you can see when there's absolutely nothing polluting there's so many more stars than you could imagine, I guess.
Yeah. What were you doing in Honduras?
I was on a mission trip. So you guys that don't know, I'm definitely a Christian. I do some charitable work. I used to run a ministry, and so I was there doing some charity work. With a church. We were going up providing food to people in the mountains that don't have access to food other than one little tiny village that they go up and down the mountain. What was really crazy is, in the United States, when you are hiking, we have what are called switchbacks. Now, I'm not a hiker by any stretch of the imagination, but switchbacks allow people to, when you're going on the Appalachian Trail, like you don't have to go straight up the mountain. You basically are able to curve up and down the mountains. You're not having to like handle the whole elevation at one time. They don't have that in Honduras. Everything is straight up and straight down. And so I was there with 6 other guys, and we were walking up and down this mountain, and it was taking forever. I thought I was going to die. It was the worst. Like I never want to hike again in my whole life. And all of a sudden, a lady holding a baby comes flying up the mountain and runs past us like in the blink of an eye. And I'm like, what is wrong with me?
puts things into perspective, huh?
Yeah, a lady with a baby. She just went trucking right past us. I'm talking about literally running up a mountain. It made me realize how lazy we all are.
So one thing I wanted to ask on this show is, do you guys have like beard sponsors like at all for the show? Because I know a ton of them.
Beard sponsors?
Yeah, like beard kits. Because on Instagram, I get probably 5 or 6 every month that reach out and send me like the oils, the little brushes, all that stuff. And I figured it would be, I didn't know if you guys had done anything.
We're doing something wrong. We just, full disclosure, we just fired our producer because she couldn't get it done with a man grooming sponsor. So
got it. Well, I'll introduce you guys. I'll introduce you to the Zeus Beard is a good one. I've worked with them a couple times. Cool. And Viking is another one. They're pretty
nice.
Pretty hardcore.
Pretty hardcore. I like that. It's interesting because this is something we are definitely very interested in, is bringing more sponsors onto the show that are not crypto specific sponsors. We think that's something that we get too pigeonholed in the crypto world, where we can only work with certain companies. and projects. But there's a whole nother world of people out there that do things outside of crypto. Believe it or not, it's crazy.
Yeah, believe
And
it or
those,
not.
and those are the people that we want to bring into the crypto space. We want them to find out about this stuff. So
Like
Absolutely.
if you guys could see the video, it does look like we're somewhat in a cult with all black hoodies. And, like, it does.
Was that ever an argument that we're not in a cult? I wasn't-
Yeah, because we were just talking about the outside world, outside of our little club, and we're all wearing black hoodies.
we are in our own little bubble.
That's
wow.
true.
We're in our own. Have you ever seen that little Microsoft commercial, or not commercial, but the video from like the Windows launch that had like Steve Ballmer and Bill Gates, and they're all dancing on stage?
Yeah,
That's basically
And he's-
basically us. We
He's
look
like
that weird.
flop sweating. He's just sweating
Yeah.
profusely.
That's one of the funniest videos of all time on the internet,
Is-
which is
is
hard
that
to say because
when
there's
the-
so
when the-
many. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Justin was raising his hands, just so you guys know.
I was
So-
dancing in my seat.
But Steve, we just thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's definitely been good. We love talking to you. You're definitely a great guest. And if you guys don't follow Steve, tell everybody where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can just search Hack Crypto on YouTube or Steve McGarry on YouTube. I'll show up, and I'm just Steve McG on Twitter without the E's, and so STVMCG on Twitter, and yeah, same on Instagram. And I'm always open to DMs. I like DMing with people and messaging with people, and I will never ask anyone for any money. So don't send anybody any money.
Yeah, of course.
Don't
Yeah,
do it.
don't fall for the scam, guys. None of us YouTubers or content creators will ever ask you for money. That's not a real thing that happens. It's a scam 100%. So, well, thank you, Steve, so much for joining us. That's all we got for you guys today. We will see you guys on the next episode. See
Thank
you guys
you.
later.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.